I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for early October. Your turf grass should not be cut short. The larger the leaf area, the deeper the root zone. The deeper the root zone, your turf grass is more tolerant of winter cold and summer drought. Your grass can be fertilized from now until about a week to 10 days before the ground freezes. The hard part of this method is predicting the freeze. Use a high nitrogen, slow release fertilizer where the various nitrogens are in a very slow release form. This works well for northern cool grass varieties such as bluegrass. As the lawn stops growing in November and December, cut it lower so that the long blades of grass do not suffocate the crowns of your grass under the snow and ice cover of winter. This is why we rake the leaves and the debris off our turf grass in the autumn. Simply this: it suffocates the crowns of the grass, makes your grass that much thinner next year. And of course, you then have to go and build it up before the summer heat, where if you keep all the debris off and leaves, less of this is necessary. This year has been bad for tree mildew and tar spot. This means you should be patrolling your garden, looking for these culprits. Why? Because when the first spring rain hits, and that's exactly what it does, it hits the leaves and the tar spot and the mildew, and the spores are then exploded into the air and infect your garden, your neighbor's garden, and your neighbor's neighbor's garden, because they definitely move well on the wind. So patrol weekly your garden and make sure you get every one of these diseased leaves out of your garden and off your turf. Your evergreens, junipers, yews, and cedars should not be pruned at this time unless it's dead. If it's dead, it's dead. You can remove it. These evergreens will all drop their oldest leaves on the inside. So basically the inside of the uprights and the spreading evergreens, the yews, the junipers, the cedars, all turn brown in the inside. This is the older foliage. It's being shed so that the energy all goes to the new growth in the spring. This is how you get pine needles on a pine needle forest floor. It works with hemlocks. It works with all of the evergreens. And basically, it helps to feed the plants as it breaks down. It also works as a mulch to keep it moist, and also that it also will feed as it breaks down. So it's a good thing. If it is extensive and you get a lot of brown on the inside and very little green growth on the outside, it means that next year you'll have a little bit of a struggle. You will have to feed your evergreens about 3 times with a good evergreen water-soluble fertilizer, probably 3 times for sure, in order to build up these evergreens and get them back up into health. The amount of brown that sheds in the center is a good indicator of the plant's health. 'Tis the last rose of summer left blooming alone, and this is just what you want. Yes, it gives you some late color in your autumn garden, but it is good for the rose bushes as well. It's very important that you do not cut back until all the leaves have dropped off your roses. They are not truly dormant until this happens. This may be November, and you don't do it till then. Okay, we'll talk more about that in November because it might be December in your area. But one thing you'll have to remember, and you can start to prepare this, is that all your rambling roses, your climbing roses, and a lot of your tall roses above 5 or 6 feet need to be bundled And on occasion, in very bad areas where roses don't do well over winter, the bundle is then pulled over gently towards the ground and can be mulched or buried or even just wrapped in burlap. A lot of people don't do this and they wonder why all of these long wands that they've been growing all season suddenly die over winter. Setting back these long, rambling, climbing type roses, and of course, you start all over again next year. So if you see that and you've experienced that before, it's time to go and get it into your head. Stand there. Which way can I lean them? Which way will all these branches tie together into a bundle? And which way will it flop? Hey, if it flops out onto your lawn, that's no good. You can't bury it. You can't protect it. And it would probably ruin the lawn. So you got to plan that one and be prepared, because it will take a fair amount of a good soft hemp rope to bundle the branches all up together. Burlap is not a bad idea, simply because in this case, it helps to protect against the wind, and it's really the wind that gets the long rambling roses in the wintertime. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for October.